Man, I wish we had something to eat. I'm craving some sweets. I don't want to eat another one of those healthy bars. What else, what do we have? Let's get some fruit, I guess. I just want something more. There's gotta be something more, right? Maybe some ice cream? I really don't want something cold though. What could I do? If you've ever had this thought, if you've ever wandered around, right, in a food like Netherland, okay, check it out. Grab a fork. This is Cooking with Torque. All right. Here we got stuff. We're gonna make strawberry shortcake. Going old school. I got my recipe. I have a bag of lemons, but really I only need lemon zest. But it's your basic ingredients: vanilla, all-purpose flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, a couple 8-inch pans. The recipe, I'm gonna actually double it. Theoretically, it shouldn't take us twice as long, but it's pretty easy. And I'm only doing part of it right now because I just gotta get the cake cooked. So there's that. I mean, it's pretty easy. When you're sitting there looking around for a dessert and you're like, maybe I could go buy ice cream, or maybe I just go buy a cake, or maybe I just buy something, order something, right? I mean, these are ingredients that you just go out and buy. Okay, you can store on hand. Baking soda, baking powder, you're using anything, and guess what? Baking. Flour. Used for baking, used for cooking, used on a lot of different things. Like you can make gravy with it, breads, basically baking, right? And sugar. If you don't have table sugar in your house, like you might have a problem, like you might have a health problem, because I know that there's some of that exists out there, which is cool, but we don't, so we gotta think of sugar. I don't know what the alternatives for sugar are. It's just a sweetener, right? So I'm sure you could use something else. And of course, vanilla. Keep vanilla in your house. It's very cool. Very nice to use. Also, did you know that if you get a vanilla bean and vodka, you can actually make vanilla extract? Fun fact. Oh, and this one has a neat little recipe to have creme brulee. That might be next. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna hop to it. Strawberry shortcake, made with shortcake, actual shortcake. That's the bread that I'm gonna make. And it, as opposed to angel food cake, which I think is what everybody packages it, like at Walmart or whatever. So it's gonna be interesting. This is more traditional. All right, so when we look at the recipe, strawberries, we'll ignore that for now. Preheat the oven. I'm gonna ignore that for now. All I need is 5 minutes for the oven. Okay, so we're gonna sift together the flour, baking powder, baking soda, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So obviously I have too much stuff out, but if we want to, oh wait, what else? It depends on what bowl I'm gonna use. Okay, that's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm gonna actually use the mixer that I'll have to rearrange for here. I wonder if I can do it all over there. I wonder. Because that would be absolutely fantastic if I could plug this guy in. No! Wait. Yes. Cool. Because then I don't have to move the camera again. All right. Cool. Okay, then I got my bowl, and I've got my mixer. Back with old KitchenAid. Wait. I'm a bot. I'm telling you, this is one of the best investments we've made. Like, granted, we don't use it daily, but like when it comes in handy, it comes in handy. I'm gonna wait for that, because I don't need to really mix it. Okay, so it calls to sift, okay? So many of us young folk who bake on the side really don't know what a sifter is. We don't have them anymore. We don't use them anymore. We have them. You can go buy them at the store. So I use what's called a strainer, right? Or it might be a sieve. I don't really know. I don't know what this particular thing is called. I call it a strainer. But anyway, so when you sift something, you just put the ingredients in here and like shake it to kind of mix it all together better than just like stirring it around, right? Okay. So I'm gonna double everything. I forgot that I was doubling everything. So flour, baking powder, baking soda, and sugar. Okay. Baking soda, baking powder. All right. So if we look at the flour, because flour's first, I'm gonna put half the flour in, and then I'm gonna sift together with all the other ingredients. So half the flour is actually gonna be one thing of flour. So 2 cups, that's simple enough. And I'll probably have a tablespoon, I'm sure, of something. Oh no, actually, that's a teaspoon. Oh, I do need a tablespoon, but I also need like a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm gonna have a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, wait. Where's the daggone 1/4 teaspoon at? Where you at, buddy? Where you at? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, because there's multiple measurements in here, multiple different like teaspoon sizes. So I just grab a couple of them so that I know that I don't have to go back to the little drawer. Alright, so 2 cups of flour. 2 cups of flour would be enough for 1 serving, but since we're doubling it, I'll just do 2. In here, that's 1. Ooh. Let's do 1 at a time. Okay. And then I'll put the full amounts of everything else because it's slightly smaller. So 2 tablespoons of sugar, which is actually 4. So double it, right? You're gonna double it. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, until I get to the strawberries, the sugar is done, right? Put that there. All right, baking powder. Do not get it confused with baking soda, okay? Very different properties, very different reactions. Very important to keep them in your brain, right? They're different. So for baking, as I say that, I'm getting them confused. Baking powder, we're going to use 2 teaspoons. Okay, double it is 4 teaspoons for baking powder. 4 teaspoons, not tablespoons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's all for baking powder. All right, baking soda, to this guy. Baking soda is 1/4 teaspoon. Double it is 1/2 teaspoon. Excuse me. I'm telling you, the thing about this makes me, it's actually for a friend, so I'm not going to be able to post this till tomorrow, but you're going to see it tomorrow. It's actually for a friend, so you'll see it tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow. All right. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Wait, what's next? Sugar, I got the sugar there. Salt. Okay, so salt. Salt. 3/4 of a teaspoon times 2 is 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Always use the good old pure sea salt. That's kind of what they all tell us to use now, or the Himalayan salt. All right, 1.5 teaspoons. So here's 1 teaspoon, and then 1/2 teaspoon. Boom. All right, so then I'm going to add 1 more cup of flour on top of this. I'll level off as best I can. Put it right there on top. Yeah. Okay. And then you sift. All you do is just tap the little thing, shake it back and forth, and it just puts it together, right? Got a couple of rocks of baking soda. Just kind of knock those through. All right, now let me get a different bowl. I didn't think this through. All right, so I've got 2 things of flour, 2 cups of flour, and I need a total of 4. Hello, Sandy dog. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put another cup of flour into the strainer. Pour some of this mixture into it, put another cup of flour on top and sift it through. And then I'll do some magic to maybe mix it together, we'll see. That'll be 4 cups of flour. So 1 cup on right there, okay? And then we're going to pour some, let me level this up. Just kind of get that level. Okay. Oh, that mixture looks so nice. Okay. Just level it out a little bit, and then we'll do 1 more cup of flour. Boom. Quite a lot, actually. I'm doing this big bowl. There we go. And then we just tap it. Takes a sifter, an actual sifter would be super easy. So you put like some of your flour in, some of your ingredients in, and it has a little handle, and you turn it, and it actually it kind of mixes up the ingredients and moves it through the bottom. This is probably a terrible idea with as much that I have in here, but it's still working just the same. So I can see the flour rising up around me. Put this on top. That was probably just all flour. Oh my goodness, it's just light and fluffy. Now I'm just kind of stirring it up a little bit to get that flour mixture that I have on top mixed in. Everything else should be sifted together though. Okay, that should be good. Okay. Now I'm going to put the oven on to 400.